Well, Joe Biden has finally gone and done it. He's met the press and held an actual, honest-to-God session with the media since the first time in what seems like, well, forever. The occasion was a visit by the South Korean president, so it wasn't your typical free-for-all. It was indeed very controlled. How controlled? Have a look.
You recently launched your re-election campaign. You've said questions about your age are legitimate, and your response is always, just watch me. But the country is watching, and recent polling shows that 70% of Americans, including a majority of Democrats, believe you shouldn't run again. What do you say to them? What do you say to those Americans who are watching and aren't convinced? You've said you can beat Trump again. Do you think you're the only one?
I may not be the only one, but I know him well, and I know the danger he presents to our democracy, and we've been down this road before.
Wow, how about that question? Congratulations to the reporter who remembered what her job actually was. But there's a lot more to this story, and that's not just how controlled this press conference was, but also how scripted. Let's find out how much as we go busting the narrative. Right. Now, as I mentioned in the opener, Joe Biden has finally done a stand-up press conference, something he has not done for months, but which he will have to get used to doing again if he is really serious about his announced bid for re-election. What is crazy, though, is that one question aside, how absolutely scripted this media conference was. I mean, not only did Joe Biden have a list of reporters to call on, but he also knew, for the most part, what they were going to ask and what talking points he needed to meet them. Have a look at this telephoto lens shot from the press pack, which captured an image of Biden's prep notes, indicating that he was supposed to ask for his first question from the Los Angeles Times' Courtney Subramanian, and that she was going to ask about semiconductor manufacturing and foreign policy. Well, that's exactly how it played out.
Now we're going to take some questions. The first question is from Courtney of the Los Angeles Times.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your top economic priority has been to build up U.S. domestic manufacturing in competition with China. But your rules against expanding chip manufacturing in China is hurting South Korean companies that rely heavily on Beijing. Are you damaging a key ally in the competition with China to help your domestic politics ahead of the election?
There's more. This image showed the president's notes telling him that this would be a tough Q&A. And this one here showed his prep notes, including a reminder that you, meaning him, the president, would be there in the session. Well, good for you, Mr. President. This is, of course, not the first time the president's notes have been captured on film, showing that he barely knows how to get from A to B. Last year, the New York Post reported that other notes gave the president comical details about how to deal with a meeting, including, quote, enter the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. Then you take your seat. The typed-up note also said that after reporters arrived, the president was to give brief comments. When reporters depart, then, they said, you ask Liz Shuler, President AFL-CIO, a question, and then you thank participants, and I love this one, you depart. He really does need that level of instructions, and it is no wonder they have to give him detailed notes, because remember what happened the last time Biden went all free range. He went out and changed U.S. policy on Taiwan.
What should Chinese President Xi know about your commitment to Taiwan?
We agree with what we signed on to a long time ago, and that there's a one China policy, that Taiwan makes their own judgments about their independence. We are not moving, we're not encouraging their being independent. That's their decision.
But would U.S. forces defend the island?
Yes, if in fact there was an unprecedented attack.
After our interview, a White House official told us U.S. policy has not changed.
Now, all of this comes, of course, against the backdrop of Biden's attempt to win another term of office. And I know the Democrats think that their best strategy now is to run against Donald Trump, who they think is too volatile and too enmeshed in controversy to actually get over the line. But as the question at the start of this program indicated, most Americans think Biden is not the right guy, and that America is heading in the wrong direction. Just like, well, Biden himself.
Instruments.
Wrong way, go back, Mr. President. Thanks for watching. I am James Morrow, and to support this channel, please like, share, and subscribe below. And I'll see you next week for Busting the Narrative. Bye-bye.